because I am painfully aware of the exact same thing that you are painfully aware of. And that is, a whole lot of people go to art school. A whole lot of people take life drawing classes with high hopes that they can come out the other side and reach a professional level of artistic ability. And yet, we know that only a small percentage of all of those people come out the other side reaching that level of ability that they hoped for. And here's the thing that I feel that I have to offer as a teacher. I've been teaching now for over a decade, and I have watched every single student that I have ever had, without exception, come through those doors and make some combination of the exact same 4 mistakes. And I mean, I have never seen a single exception to this, including myself. And so I've learned teaching over the years that we've got to cover those 4 things right up front to set the foundation for what's going to get us the result that we're looking for. And these are them. These are the 4 things: practice, time limit, value limitations, and perception. But let me say right up front, at the risk of sounding melodramatic, but I don't mind whatever it takes to get you out of bed in the morning and get you to your drawing board, and for me too. I'll come up with as much drama as I can, including this painting, this metaphorical battlefield, because so many art students take on the challenge, and so few of them come out the other side that now I tell my students it's like a battlefield, and we have got to find out how to fight our way through that gauntlet. And so these 4 things are exactly what that gauntlet is. The first one is fairly obvious, as some of the other ones may not be quite as obvious. So we're all aware that it takes a good amount of practice to train our mind, our eyes, and our hands to develop the skills that make life drawing work. And in the end, in the long run, only a small percentage of people are willing to put in the time necessary to make that happen. So what you've got to do is practice. Practice, 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 my friends. You've got to get into the life drawing classroom however you can and work from life. You've got to get outside, experience what happens in natural light. And you've got to spend as much time as possible in your home studio, studying, practicing, drawing. Practice, practice, practice. And so that's what the homework in this class will drive towards. Here's what the homework in this class will be. Your homework will be to do 1 finished study from life each week. And that's a minimum. The most serious students will do more than that, because here's the way that I look at it. If this is a hobby for you, and your level of seriousness is that, you have in your spare time you'd like to use drawing as a hobby, that's fantastic. Your homework assignment will be to do 1 finished study per week to put into practice whatever we've covered in that week's lecture. For those of you who want to develop a professional level of artistic ability in drawing portraits, your homework assignment will be a little bit more serious in that. Require a bigger commitment. I would say that the minimum requirement to meet that is to do 3 finished studies from life per week. 3. Now, I've had some students did that, gained a lot of progress. I've even had a few students who've said, I'm taking this all the way. I'm at a time in my life right now where I'm able to study a little bit more full time, so I'm taking this as far and as fast as I can. I'm going to do 1 finished drawing every single day of this class. That's great. Do it. By all means, do it. Do take 1 day a week off to let yourself recoup. So for those students, they've done 6 finished studies, 6 days a week. They've really committed and gone for it. And you can't believe how much they've improved over the course of a 9-week class. So that's going to be your homework. to work from life. Now, I want you to work from life, not from photographs. Now, there's nothing wrong with working from photography. You may do it over the course of your career. Professional artists do, but here's its limitation. If your goal is to work from life, then the big challenge in doing that is to translate the three-dimensional world that you see into something that reads clearly and with artistry on a two-dimensional surface. That is a hard challenge to learn. You do not get that from working from photographs. You're translating a 2D photograph to a 2D drawing, that's fine, but it limits you in your understanding of how to work from life. So each week you'll work from life, you'll do a portrait study, and a lot of students opt to do a self-portrait. Why? Because you're free and you're accessible. You can get a mirror, you can get a light, and anytime, day or night, you can get yourself in your studio and do a self-portrait. So you get even a cheap desk lamp that you can clip and put close to your head so you have a nice strong single point light source. You can get a single mirror works, working straight on or slightly at an angle, but you might also want to get a double mirror. 2 mirrors so that you can adjust them against each other so that you can do multiple views. You can look at it and do a 3/4 view of yourself. You can do a profile. You can even tip those 2 mirrors around such that you can even get slightly back angles, so you can do all kinds of different views of your own head. That's the simplest, most direct, cheapest, most effective way to work from life as a student. Okay, so that will be it. Let's move on. Number 2 in our list is time limit. When you are working from life, there is always a time limit. You're always fighting that clock. If you're in the classroom, working from life, you have a limited amount of time, and then the model is going to get up and walk away. You're working out of doors from life, that light is going to change over time in direct sunlight fairly rapidly. You're lucky if you can get even a couple of hours before the light significantly changes and you have to be done. My friends, that is one of the challenges that you'll have to learn to deal with, that we will cover in this class and teach you how to do that. Number 3 on our big challenges of working from life is value limitations. And this is one of those ones that a lot of beginners aren't even aware is a challenge. And so no wonder they struggle with it so much when they don't even know to address it. So we have a range of values that we'll be able to work with, our term value, to make sure we're all on the same page. Value simply means the relative tone of lightness or darkness. Here's the challenge that you might not be aware of. In this class, we're working with basically a stick of charcoal or a charcoal pencil and a piece of paper. That medium gives you something like this: a stick of charcoal and what that will give you, and your piece of paper, which does not compare to what you're seeing, especially out of doors, because what you see in light is the pure brightness of the sun, or we may be working from a bright spotlight in life drawing. And so what you can see is a vast value scale from light. Your ability to represent it is very small. You see the challenge here? Your medium does not have the ability to represent the scale of value that you see with light. This is a huge challenge because draw what you see, it's not possible. And so it is a learning of how to translate the vast value scale that you can see with light into something that your medium is actually able to represent. Another huge challenge that tends to stop people in their tracks because they're not aware of it. They try and render every nuance they can see, and then they don't understand why it doesn't work out, why their value structure tends to fall apart. So this is one of our great challenges that we will learn to address in this course.